Yes, I am Nick Chang, and as you might have guessed by my apparel, of course you've worked it out, I am, of course, a Royal Navy veteran.
Every time I perform, I get 1 millimetre taller.
He wants 300 quid up front plus 20 quid a session. Robin Conman.
When I'm up there, I just feel so great. It's turned my life around.
They went and changed the uniform over from something called Combat Soldier 95, which is dark woodland pattern, to this thing called MTP. But the thing they were most excited about is they got issued with combat shorts. Name me one combat situation where you need to be camouflaged from the knees up.
I've actually started to look at myself in the mirror and actually go, that's a fairly decent person if they're laughing with me. I'm the first one to admit it because I have to talk about PTSD. Yeah, I've tried to hurt myself multiple times. And I'm delighted by this process. It's been over 3 years now since I've tried to hurt myself. And it's purely because I'm doing comedy and engaging with people and feeling some value. I've stopped existing. I've started to start living again.
Surely a single parent travelling with a toddler, you're going to sit them together, right? And she said, actually, sir, no, that's not the case. I think she was Welsh. You don't pay the extra for the seats to be put together, then you run the risk of being sat at opposite ends of the plane. I'm at opposite ends of the plane for a 4-hour flight to Gran Canaria.
My first ever gig was 340 people, and it was huge, and there was a number of friends and family in the audience, and I just walked out on that stage and I just went, oh God, you know. But then I delivered my first joke and it landed, and the uproar from the crowd, my life's been different ever since. I felt it inside me, the buzz.
I got on stage, I told a story that happened in my life, audience laughed, and it was the best feeling in my life. I rush of adrenaline, tingles up the neck, it felt absolutely amazing. I've now been doing comedy for 10 years.
A lieutenant commander that sounds like Warsaw Gummidge. Everybody looking at me going, he shouldn't be driving warships, just that tractor around Somerset.
During COVID, a little project was set up via Zoom because many of us that were wounded with things like PTSD, etc., we had nowhere to go. And it was a course on how to do stand-up comedy, and got addicted, started doing gigs on Zoom, and Project Comedy just grew legs. Loads of us wanted to stick with it. So I ended up getting on the physical circuit, and now I'm leading this team of people all around the country learning stand-up comedy for their own well-being and recovery. And here we are 5 years later, we've actually managed to bring a team of us up here to do the entire Fringe Festival.
It's introduced me into a world of acceptance where I was always very self-doubtful before. I was always worried about what everyone else thinks. I was always scared of crowded rooms. Now I walk in there and I walk on stage almost cockily.
Don't tell anyone you're gay in China. I said, why? He said, because they'll beat you. Look at me. I don't look like I'm going to get beaten by a Chinese man. I look like I've eaten a Chinese man.
As serving personnel, we were put in vulnerable situations, and we had to create this game face because, yeah, it's like, okay, stuff's happened, game face on, let's go. And I suppose in stand-up comedy, we have that same thing. You're standing off stage, nervous wreck, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? The MC says, welcome to the stage, says your stage name, and it's like, right, game face on, let's go. If you can do 5 minutes on stage, you can do a job interview. So that is how it is. Whether you want to be a comedian or not, doesn't matter. The skills, the soft skills you learn through comedy, you can use in your everyday life.
And my mum would never let me cut it. She once even made me audition for the part of the Milky Bar Kid. Does anybody remember that?
It gave me an escape. It gave me somewhere to go where there was like-minded people, especially with Project Comedy. But even aside from, you can't be a comedian without having some kind of issues. I'm telling you now, there's a lot of people out there, and that it's such an accepting world.
I suffer with a condition called complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I see stuff that isn't there. As an example, I think I'm exceptionally well dressed.
But if you're disengaging from civilian society, you're just going to make yourself ill. And that's the joy of stand-up comedy. You've got to make civilians laugh. You've got to engage with those kind of people, and you've got to get out of your home. So going out onto the open mic circuit and pro gigs, you're engaging with the real world.